What's up, YouTube? Back with another video. We're gonna do part 2 on the Anfibio, learning the Anfibio. A lot of people have been commenting, asking me what's the difference between 4-tone and 5-tone as far as depth. So I'm gonna do a little bit explaining on that. Also, they was asking about the mineralization bar, which is right there. I'm gonna explain a little bit on that in this part of the video. Also, some little tricks on how you can tell if it's a good target or a trashy target. A lot of people say, if you know all these tricks and stuff about the Anfibio, why do you dig so much trash? I dig a lot of trash because I'm a dig it all digger. I dig it all. I don't cherry pick. If it sounds pretty good, I usually dig, unless I can just really tell it's trash. But regardless of what detector you use, you're gonna dig that trash regardless. So if you think you're gonna get away from the trash, that's not happening. Trust me. Okay, so I got my detector on. As you can see, when I turn it on, it automatically goes to 5-tone. I'm going to explain a little bit about 4-tone right there. 4-tone and 5-tone, there's some difference between the two. Of course, you putting more stuff in segments. When you're in 4-tone, you're going to get 4 different tones. You can adjust those tones to however you like, but the difference is 4-tone is more sensitive than 5-tone. If you're digging, in a, say like around a house where there's a lot of EMI, you're gonna get a lot of chatter in 4-tone because it's so sensitive. You're gonna also get a little bit more depth in 4-tone because it's so sensitive, especially on smaller targets. But you can fix that by adjusting your gain. If you run your gain, as you can see, where I have my gain, it's at 80. If you go a little bit higher than that, say 90s, 89s, 90s, that high, you're gonna get a lot of chatter in 4-tone. But if you can deal with the chatter, you can take it up that high, you gain up that high, and you're gonna get, a little bit more depth, but it's gonna be chattery. You can adjust it, by turning your gain down a little bit, like where I have mine at 80. You're still gonna get good depth, and you're gonna get around the same amount of depth as 5-tone. Now, if you take your gain up in 4-tone, you're gonna get a little more depth in 4-tone, but it's really sensitive and it's really chattery. A lot of people don't like the chatter. It's annoying to some people. I don't mind the chatter. If I need to get a little bit more depth, and I can deal with the chatter. If I want to get a little bit more depth when I'm running 4-tone, I will take my gain up to about 89. I won't go any higher than that, but I can get a little bit more gain in 4-tone. I also do a lot of cross-checking, and when I'm in 5-tone, I'll throw it up in 4-tone and do a little cross-checking on a target if it's super deep, because I'm gonna get more depth. And you're not gonna get a enormous amount of depth between 4 and 5-tone. Maybe 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches more in 4-tone if you take it up to about 89 and you can deal with the chatter. 5-tone, as you can see on the difference, in my 5-tone, and you see where I have that at 89. I'm gonna get really good depth in 5-tone. I'm breaking a lot of the targets up in different segments. I was showing some people how to adjust, if you wanted your nickels to come in high tones. I showed you how to do that in the last video. I don't do mine like that. I just leave it how it is, the way it's set up in 5-tone. But you're still gonna get a lot of depth in 5-tone, but it's a whole lot quieter in 5-tone. Even if you're around a lot of EMI, around the houses, stuff like that, it's gonna be quieter. But also, don't try to run 4 or 5-tone wide open, 92, 93 in the home sites, if you're digging in yards, because you're gonna get that EMI, because the coil on the Anfibio is very sensitive. And so you want to adjust your gain, and don't think you're going to lose all this depth by taking your gain to 75, 80. You're still going to get 7, 8, 9-inch targets. Even at your gain at 70, 75 is still that deep. And I'm going to show that in another part of the video on part 3. I'm going to be doing some outside. Right now I'm in the garage. I'm going to be doing some outside testings with the Anfibio, just to show you what I'm talking about in 5-tone, 4-tone, 3-tone. I'll show you a little bit about when you pinpoint, how you can tell if it's a trashy target, on how the Anfibio resets itself, the mineralization bar, of course, speed, recovery, separation, and depth, and the difference between 3-tone, 4-tone, and 5-tone. People was asking about 2-tone. 2-tone is more like a relic program. You're just going to get 2 tones. You're going to get a low tone and a high tone. I don't use 2-tone very much. I have detected in 2-tone. You might get just a little bit more depth than 3-tone, but you're not going to get near as much depth in 4 and 5-tone running 2-tone. 2-tone is more like a relic program. I don't use 2-tone that much. On 5-tone, again, on 5-tone, you're breaking the segments, the targets up in segments. You don't have them crowded up like in 3-tone. You have so many targets that are come in a high tone, a mid-tone, or a low tone. When you're running in 4 or 5-tone, you're just breaking all that stuff up, so it's not so clustered. So many targets coming in a mid-tone, or so many targets coming in a high tone. So you just break it up, but you're going to get fast recovery in 3-tone, super fast. I'm going to show you how fast this Anfibio is in 3-tone, and you won't lose that much recovery speed in 4 and 5-tone, but it is a little slower than 3-tone for sure. And that's the difference between 4 and 5-tone. You're going to get a little bit more depth in 4-tone if you can deal with the chatter. 5-tone is a lot quieter. That's the difference. Now, people was asking about the mineralization bar right here. It's that bar right there. When you swinging over a target, you're going to see that bar go up. You're going to see some, like these little bars on my battery life right here. It's at 2. I need to charge it tonight before I go out in the morning to do some detecting. But you're going to see these little bars come up. If you see that bar go way up there like that, big blocks, that's trash. It's most definitely trash. No doubt about it. Sometimes you'll see one bar come up, and that's a diggable target, because whatever target that you're digging, it could be some trash nearby that's making that mineralization bar go up. If you see it go up 2 and you start turning on a target, either that bar is going to disappear or it's going to go up. It's going to let you know trash or possible good target. Good target, dig it. Just don't swing in one direction and you see, bars go up and you say, oh, it's trash. Turn on it. Turn on that target and see if those bars go down. If they go down, then it's probably a good target that's been mashed by some trash. Or if it still stays the same, then that's a trashy target. That's how you can tell if there's a trashy target with this mineralization bar right here. Also, you can tell if there's a trashy target if you go over a target and you hear a high tone and you see your numbers go up say like 89, 90 or something like that. You think it might be a quarter or something like that. Well, if you pinpoint that target while you're swinging over it, pinpoint it, and then swing over it again, if you see your number started wavering really bad, then you know it's a trashy target. It's more likely a bottle cap. Now, sometimes on those bottle caps, you'll see that mineralization bar go up one or two, and then your VDI will show like a quarter signal. It'll be a 89. You'll see an 89. But how you can tell the difference between an 89 bottle cap and an 89.91 silver quarter is by this mineralization bar right here. If it's a silver quarter, you won't see anything right here, and you'll hear that pitch, and it'll stay pretty firm on that 89 or 91 or 90 VDI. If it's a bottle cap, you'll see it hit that 89, 90, and then you pinpoint it and then swing over it again. You'll see it'll jump down to, 76. It'll jump back up to 89. It'll jump back to 50s. That's how you know it's a bottle cap. I don't really pay attention to the mineralization bar because I dig it all, but it's just a little tip to help you to decipher a good target and trashy targets by this mineralization bar and your VDI. On a clad quarter on the VDI, it's gonna ring up at 87, 88. It's gonna stay there. If it's a clad quarter, it's gonna stay on that 87, 89 or 87, 88. A bottle cap is gonna ring up just a little bit higher, but it's gonna be jumpy, and you'll see that mineralization bar go up. And if you pinpoint that target and then swing over it again, if it stays in that VDI number that you first saw, say at 88, and it stays there, then you know it's a pretty good target. If you hear that target and then you pinpoint it and then swing over it again, you'll see the Anfibio reset itself, and then it'll jump way down. That's how you know it's a bottle cap. It's trash. I don't dig a lot of bottle caps. That's one thing that I kind of pay attention to, is those bottle caps. But I have been fooled by the bottle caps. You just get fooled. There's no getting around it, really. You're just gonna dig that trash. Also, people was asking me when they're swinging the Anfibio, they hear a high tone and it makes them stop, and then then you'll hear a grunt or just nothing at all. Well, what it's doing is the Anfibio read some target and it resets itself. So whenever you swing over a target and you hear that high pitch, and then you don't hear it anymore, that was the Anfibio resetting itself. And what I mean by resetting itself, it read that target and deciphered that was a trashy target or something that you had notched out or not a diggable target. Then it just disappears. It got the feedback from the coil that it was, a trashy target or something that you didn't want to dig or something that you had notched out. And people say, well, I swing over a target when I'm swinging and walking and I hear this high peep, and then I turn and stop, and then I swing over it, it disappears. It was just the Anfibio resetting itself from your swing over one target to another target. It reset itself. Now, if you hear that high tone and you stop and you swing over it again, you see it disappear, it was just resetting itself. It wasn't a target there from the beginning. It was just resetting. Also, I was getting the questions asked on the depth. How do you tell a deep target on the Anfibio from a trashy deep iron target? The Anfibio, I don't know why, but it loves deep iron. You'll get deep iron and it'll sound so good. I've been fooled many times on this target, and that's because I don't look at the mineralization bar. You'll see it pop up if it's deep iron. Also, if you turn on that target, usually deep iron is running parallel, it's laying one direction. And so if you turn on that target that you think might be deep iron, that's super deep, if you turn on it and that target disappears, start breaking, then that's deep iron. If it's running parallel and you swinging your coil across it, of course it's going to hit it and it's going to sound real good. But if you turn the other direction, running east and west, and you try to swing over that target, the Anfibio is going to let you know that that's deep iron. That's how you can tell if you digging on a deep iron target. Sometimes you just got to pay attention to all your functions of your screen here, and it's going to tell you, a deep target, trashy target. Of course, you got your depth meter here. If you pinpoint a target and you think it's a good target, if you pinpoint it, it's going to be small. It's not going to drag, but you have to be careful with that, because if you dragging on a small target, and you could drag off onto another target, and it'll, to yourself, you'll think, oh, it's a big target. So you have to pinpoint and then let it go. Try to find that breaking point, that target, before you just keep dragging. And I'm going to show you what I mean by dragging when I start going outside and showing you some different things on how to decipher the trash from the good targets. And you'll see what I mean. I have some notes right here from the questions people are asking and stuff like that. And I'm going to try to break all that down when I do some outside tips and tricks on the Anfibio. And I can show you a little bit more, probably better than what I'm explaining it to you, because some people probably saying, what does dragging mean? What does that mean? I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Also, some people was asking about the beach mode. Like I said, I don't hunt beaches. There's no beaches where I stay. There are some field team members, one that I know of, two that I know of, that does hunt beaches. You can find them on Facebook. They're on Facebook. I put their names in the description. You can contact them on Facebook and get some information on beaches. I don't hunt beaches, so I can't give you an honest setting or opinion on how the Anfibio reacts on beaches or targets or anything like that. I just can't do that. If I did that, I'd be lying to you, and I don't want to lie to you about the Anfibio. But there are some people that do hunt with the Anfibio on some beaches, and so I just can't give you a correct answer on a setting on how it does on the beach. But there are some people that have hunted with the Anfibio on the beach. There's 2 field members of the Nomads that hunted with the Anfibio on the beach, and I put their names in the description, and you can contact them and see what settings they're running on the Anfibio when they take it to the beach. A lot of these other questions I have to show outside, far as depth, separation, unmasking, will the Anfibio show a VDI on a deep target. I'm going to show you that it will show a VDI on a super deep target. I'm going to open up some holes and place some targets in there and show you that the Anfibio will hit deep targets on certain setups. And I'm going to show you a setup that will hit deep targets, because a lot of people are asking me on deep targets. Well, you always got to keep in mind, if there's trash, you'll never get to the deep target unless you can get past the trash. A lot of targets are being masked by trash. So always remember, everything good is not deep. Some things that are good targets are right there in front of you. They're just masked by trash. You got to know how to unmask those targets. And I'm going to show you how to do that with the Anfibio also. So I think I answered a few questions about 4 and 5 tones that I have written down from comments, about 3-tone and 2-tone. Of course, you have, I put some settings on how to set it up and stuff like that. So I don't want to make this video too long. I was just going to show the difference between, because that's what I mostly got on my notes. What's the difference between 4 and 5 tone, and is 4-tone deeper or 5-tone deeper? and got some questions on the mineralization bar. So I'm gonna end the video here for this part of the series. Part 3 will be outdoors, going over targets, unmasking targets, recovery speed, depth, how to read the mineralization bar, and all that. All right, guys, I hope this video was helpful for you guys who was asking all the questions about the Anfibio and 4 and 5 tone and the mineralization bar. Next video will be outside going over some targets. All right, guys, got to charge my Anfibio. Get ready for my hunt. See you on the next good target.